Hello, welcome back again. This is Ho-Sung So from Kinesiology 370 class. We will continue to work on academic learning time in physical education. So it was just known as ALTPE. ALTPE. So this is your class. Okay, this is your class. That you have 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and 50 minutes. So now you have a class time right here. It could be 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. But let me start with 30 minutes that you need to teach. 30 minutes, which is given to you to teach. So this is called allocated time, AT. Now you can see allocated time right there, which is a given time for your instruction, right? So let me explain about what the ALTPE does. So once you have a 30 minutes to teach, I'm sure you are very interested in how much time you need to spend in the beginning, in the middle, at the end of your instruction. Some of you will spend a lot of time on class organizations, such as roll call and setting up some equipment, dealing with some students who will misbehave in your class. Sometimes you will have some conversations with your students to interact in class. Those are all in your class happening, right? So to be more effective in your teaching, it's really critical that you need to understand how much time you spend on what, right? So ALTPE will give you a really good the picture of your teaching behaviors. At the same time, your students' learning time as well. So you got 30 minutes. I'm sure you expect all of your students will learn for 30 minutes, but it's not going to happen, right? So our job is to make it happen by understanding the concept of ALTPE. So remember, you have, for example, 30 minutes, which is a given time. That's something you cannot control. That is your class time. AT right there, AT. Let's break down your classroom. In the beginning of your class, what do? Well, you need to take your students from the classroom to the playground. That will take about 5 minutes. And some of your students do not follow your instructions. They are very, very disruptive, and you need to control their behaviors, such as, well, Tom, why don't you sit down? Jennifer, please shh, don't talk. And you will spend about 5 minutes to manage your classroom and your students. So now you are spending 10 minutes out of 30 minutes. So how much time is left for your instruction? So 30 minutes minus 10. Well, you have only 20 minutes. So 30 minutes is given for you to teach, and you already spent 10 minutes on some instructional, non-instructional, or not real instructional related behaviors, such as classroom management and student behavioral management. So now you have 20 minutes. What about at the end? Well, you need to take your class students to the classroom again, and you have to wrap up with your equipment. I'm sure you will spend about 5 minutes. Or you will move around with the equipment, reset up the equipment for your instruction. So now you got 5 minutes. So now you got 15 minutes left for your instruction, actual teaching. Wow. So you got 30 minutes. In the beginning, you spend 5 minutes for roll call and students' behavioral problems or control or your equipment setup. At the end, you will spend another 5 minutes to manage your class and your students. So now you got 15 minutes to teach. And this 15 minutes, and during this 15 minutes, your students will engage in your teaching. Students engagement, that is called ET. As you can see here, engaged time. So your students will get engaged in your instruction. However, academic learning time is, even they are engaged, some of your students will not do the way it is supposed to be. Some of your students will fail, and some of your students will try, but they fail, right? So for example, they spend about 5 minutes out of 15 minutes. They are engaged. However, they are not doing correctly. They are not perfect. This is called low success rate, LSR. LSR stands for very low success rate. Even they got engaged, they don't show high success rate. At the same time, some of your students understand what to do, but they're not perfect yet, but they are in progress. Well, I would say they are 5 to 8 out of 10 times successful for 5 minutes. This is called medium success rate. Medium success rate. What about 5 minutes? Your students know what to do and they are perfect. Almost they master the skills and they know what to do. This is called high success rate. High success rate. Let's go back to this figure diagram right there. Academic learning time in physical education. This is a concept how you analyze your teaching and students' behaviors in class. So as you can see here, if you reduce your management time, students' engagement will be increased. So you have a high chance to improve your students' learning. So here in the core of this diagram, academic learning time in physical education is related to high success rate here. So academic learning time is related to high success rate only. What about low success and medium success rate? Well, they are still in progress. They didn't learn it yet. They are still working on it, right? So high success rate is called academic learning time. Okay, so that is a basic concept of academic learning time in physical education. So let me summarize. You have a class that you need to teach for 30 minutes, which is known as allocated time, that you have no control over it. That is a given time, and you will spend some downtime right there that has nothing to do with your instruction, which might be related to students' behavioral issues or your classroom management. Student behaviors. Sorry for my bad writings. So classroom management, student behaviors, and roll calls, and restructure your classroom formations. And those are all those are not related to your instruction. That is a part of your instruction. Then once you are done with all the management of student behavioral issues, now you have time to teach. So in this example, you got 30 minutes of academic allocated time, and you spend about 15 minutes in the beginning, during your instruction, at the end of your instruction, for management and student behavioral issues. Now you got 15 minutes left for your students to get engaged in your instruction, right? So that is called ET, engaged time. So let's analyze this engaged time one more time. Some of your students will be able to do with high success rate. Some of your students, medium success rate, and very low success rate. Academic learning time is related to your students' high success rate right there. High success rate. So let's do a simple math. Your students learned in terms of academic learning time for 5 minutes out of 30 minutes. So now you can see which is less than 20%. So in conclusion, in this class structure, your students will be able to learn less than 20% of your instruction. So how can we improve our students' learning? Well, you need to reduce your management, and you need to have some pre-arranged classroom policies and rules. Then students will not show any misbehaviors or interruptions, right? So you can increase students' engaged time. The bigger for this circle, the better for students' learning in terms of academic learning time. Okay, so this is a basic concept for academic learning time in physical education. This concept is from general education. So this concept was very popular and has been popular since 1980s from the Ohio State University. Professor, they'll sit on top. You don't need to know and memorize. But since 1980s, this concept has been used in physical education to analyze teaching and teachers' effectiveness in instruction. Okay, so this one has some implication for future teachers like you as well. Once you teach, please try to analyze your classroom settings using the concept of academic learning time. And that will give you a really good sense of what you need to work on to improve your teaching effectiveness. So this is the lecture for academic learning time in physical education, ALT, PE, and good luck with your test. Okay, bye-bye.